on the road to glory. This is our week 7 prediction episode, halfway through the season. It's crazy. The games have been flying by. Can't believe I'm saying that already. But we're here for another week of college football. Got a big one this week. Bunch of top matchups to go through. And we'll discuss them all here at the road to glory or on the road to glory. I'm joined as usual by my co-host Steph. Um, Steph, welcome back to the show, my brother. One of the vibes. How you feeling? Big week coming up.
Yeah, man, the vibes is real good right now. The Ducks are still flying high. Game day is gonna be in Eugene this week. It's all good, but I feel like I've been lied to.
Who lied to you?
Penn State, Texas, Clemson, they lied to us, bro. We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
We have been. I I might pump my brakes a little bit on Texas. I think Texas might have something to say, but I don't think they're the number one team in the country, which they were advertised to be. So yes, they were still lied about. Penn
Texas is a
State,
flop.
Clemson, they're both of their seasons are pretty much over, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, we definitely lied about those two. It's crazy. It's crazy that three teams that honestly I know a lot of people picked to be in their final four are all at points in their season that playoffs might not even be a thing. Well, playoffs isn't a thing for Clemson at this point. Um, I don't think Penn State or Texas have been mathematically eliminated yet, but that is coming soon if it hasn't already. So it's been an interesting year so far to college football. Parity is at an all time high. Just going off of last year and again now, what's going on again this year? It's just so unpredictable, especially at the top of the sport right now. Um, you really never know if a team is going to be good or bad. Like you do, but you don't. Um, but yeah, man, we're here. I saw the infamous tweet that we get once a year around this time, and I'm pretty sure it starts today. But starting today, we have 49 straight days of football, whether that be college or NFL. Every single day on your TV, there will be a football game. So for all you football sickos out there that just love to have a game on your screen, it's the best time of the year. Um, let's get into week 7, man. Let's get into it. Before we do that, though, make sure if you aren't already, you like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast, whether that be Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Just really helps us grow, um, and just continue to do this. Also, make sure if you're not already following us on Instagram at the Pigskin Live for all your college football content needs and all that other good stuff. It's another good way to get in contact with us. Give us topics to talk about, teams you might want us to talk about, or games you might want us to talk about, or just give your thoughts about um, what's been going on in college football. So yeah, man, we got some action tonight on Wednesday. Some G5 action. Nothing too notable, as all four teams that are playing tonight are pretty bad, even for G5 teams. Um, Thursday, another full slate of G5 action. Tulane, they host East Carolina on ESPN at 7:30, and over on ESPNU, Louisiana Tech goes on the road to Kennesaw State. Those are some pretty interesting G5 matchups for all of you G5 sickos out there. And then Friday, we have some more action. 24th ranked South Florida travels to take on North Texas, who's currently undefeated. So that's one of the bigger G5 games of the season so far. As South Florida, I think, is currently the highest. Is Memphis rated above them in the AP right now? Do you know?
I think so.
Okay, so
Um,
so maybe
I
South
think they're
Florida isn't
23.
okay. Well, irregardless, big opportunity for North Texas if they want to get their names into that G5 hat, into that potential final at-large playoff spot. It starts here, starts at home against that South Florida team, where again North Texas is favored by 1.5 points at home. So Vegas thinks it's going to be a close one. It'll be a coin flip. Friday, 7:30 p.m. ESPN2 should be a good G5 matchup. And then 9 p.m. Friday, over on FS1, Washington, after their huge comeback victory last week against Maryland, look to get another win as Rutgers flies across the country to take on the Huskies. Um, don't feel good, honestly, about my Scarlet Knights in this one. We were able to beat Washington last year in the blackout when they came to Piscataway, but um, yeah, I think Rutgers should be able to score some points, but I think Washington is going to be able to do what they want for the most part on offense, and I think they'll stop Rutgers enough where uh, they cover that 10.5 point spread, or where they maybe win around that 10 points. I think is fair. Um, but yeah, let's get into Saturday. Let's make some official picks. Oh, excuse me. Um, Before we do that, let's update our records. I think it's another week that was not the best, especially for me. I started the week 9-17 overall. I um, went 2-2. I got Virginia plus 6.5 against Louisville, and I got Miami minus 4.5 against Florida State. Did they cover that? Was it 28-23?
Yeah.
Okay, so they barely covered that, but they did cover. So yeah, I
You
went
said
2 and
Miami plus 4.5.
minus 4.5.
Oh, I was about to sound like wait. Yeah.
To take, yeah, 28 minus 4.5 is 23.5, right? And then so yeah, they would have beat them by half a point. Okay, yeah, yeah. And then Vandy, I lost Vandy. I took them plus 10.5. I think they lost by like 13 or something like that, 14. And then Texas, I took minus 6.5. Obviously, Texas just lost the game outright, so I lost. So I moved from 9-17 to 11-19 on the year overall. Steph going into the week having a much better year than I am currently. He is 15-11. Steph took Texas minus 6.5, so that would drop him to 15-12. But you bounce back with Bama minus 10.5, so that brings you back up to 16-12. And then you hit on Virginia and Miami, so you round out the week 18-12. 40 games
Yeah,
into our
boy.
season.
I'm
So
cooking.
cooking, cooking right now, heading into week 7. If you're telling the picks, again, Steph's been hot. Make sure you're listening to what he's saying. This is not betting advice, by the way. This is just us discussing the games and saying how we
Well,
would
I
pick the
don't gamble,
games.
so
Right,
if you take bad advice from me, you just a doofus.
right. So just had to put that disclaimer out there. This is not betting advice. This is not gambling advice. Do not gamble or gamble responsibly if you are gambling. Make sure you're of age.
Gamble
Um,
away. I don't care. Gamble as much as you want. That's what you went to.
uh,
You want to lose all your
I
money?
will. I won't
Go
say
ahead.
gamble as much as you want. I'll say gamble
It's a free
responsibly.
country. I just I
It's a
don't gamble
disease and an
myself because
addiction.
I don't want to lose my money.
Yeah.
So, you know,
1-800 gambler if you're struggling or gambling, whatever the line is. Make sure you call that number. It's serious, bro. It's not a joke. Like
Yeah,
people,
some of y'all need to be put in a padded room,
yeah, people really
with
struggle
no
with
cell
it.
phones.
Yeah, so let's get into it though. First pick of the week. It starts early. This noon slate is loaded with two of the best games of the day. Let's start off in the Big Ten. Ohio State, they're going to get tested this week as they head to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini. Steph, this is a big matchup. OSU opened at 16 and a half points. The spread is currently down to 14 and a half. So Vegas thinks Ohio State is about a two touchdown favorite, two touchdowns better than Illinois. Do you agree? What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, Ohio State cover.
Is that simple?
Yeah, I'm not really too worried about it. I don't think Illinois will be much resistance, honestly. Um, so what's the spread? 14 and a half.
14 and a half.
Yeah, I'm going Ohio State cover. I think they win this by 20 easily.
I wonder about this game. I feel like I think Illinois has a much better chance than that. The way they played, um, whatchamacallit, in their game against what's their faces,
USC.
USC. Yeah, the way they played against USC, although they struggled to win that game, I think
USC is
USC's
nowhere near Ohio State though. USC is
no, no,
soft.
no, 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 no. I'm not. That's not my point. Like I'm not saying USC is a win that makes me feel confident in that they're going to beat Ohio State. It's how they played against USC, and just I thought their defense in particular, if they didn't give up that fake ass comeback, they would have shut down what I think is a pretty prolific offense. I think it's the number one uh, offense when it comes to total yards. I think. And
That's a fake stat.
obviously that's a fake stat, but what's not fake is Mavia. That's a good quarterback. Uh, Makai Lemon, or right, that's his name. That's a good wide
Yeah,
receiver. They have another good wide receiver too. I forget the other guy's name.
Jacoby
He's also
Lane.
really yes, Jacoby Lane. He's also really good. So like yes, the stat is fake. I agree, but they got real deal playmakers on that offense. Like that's a good offense. That's still Lincoln Riley out there, and Ohio State's offense has still really yet to jump off and pop off the screen for me. Like they still aren't really running the ball as I would like them to run the ball. Julian Sayin, I think he's pretty accurate, and I like the kid, but again, I don't think he's immune to having a stinker on the road against a good experienced defense like Illinois. 14 and a half points. I think Illinois is too good of a team for you to give them a two touchdown lead in this game and for them to give it up. So I'm going to take Illinois to cover. I also need to pick opposite of you if I'm going to catch up. But I really do think that they have what it takes. Like they've played in these big games. They're at home.
Bro, I think Ohio State had a pretty good offensive performance last week. I mean, they kind of exploded in the pass
Against
game,
who?
Minnesota. But still, I mean, is
Um,
Illinois that much better than Minnesota? Like, I
yes.
think they're pretty
What? Are you
comparable.
crazy?
Minnesota's a solid Big Ten team, just like
Bro,
Illinois is.
Minnesota was in a dogfight with Rutgers. They barely beat Rutgers at home.
Illinois is like slightly better than that though. They're not really that
No,
much
Illinois
better.
is a legit top 25 team. Minnesota is not sniffing top 40.
Minnesota is definitely a top 40 team. Come on now, what are we doing?
Minnesota?
Minnesota's in the upper half of that. I
Minnesota
would
just got
call it.
beat 42-3 by
Yeah,
Ohio
by the number
State.
one team, by the number one team in the country, and I feel like this score is gonna be like 42-20 or 42 to you know not 42 to 10, like 42 to 25, like or 30 to 10. That's what I feel like this score is gonna be. Bro, last week Julius Sand went 23 for 27, 326 yards, three touchdowns, no picks.
uh,
85% completion rate, bro.
against Minnesota.
Bro,
Now, I don't think
and
Illinois
they
has the
running backs
answer.
ran the ball well though. They
I don't
running
think
backs ran the
Illinois has
ball
the
well.
answer for the receiving corps. Like I'm not saying Illinois is going to win this game. Like
Bro, they
Jeremiah
ran the
Smith,
ball well
Carnell
too
Tate,
though.
those guys are freaks. Like
They
I'm
actually
not.
gave Bo Jackson most of the carries. He rushed for 4.8 yards, and
I'm
people
not. Illinois
Spelden rushed for
is not
eight
scared
and a
of Bo
half yards a
Jackson.
carry. Bro, they ran the second running back Peoples ran for 8.5 yards a carry, bro. Come on, they got some good runs last week. They've kind of had a better week than the previous weeks on offense.
They're
I think
55th in the country in rushing offense right now. Like that is not a good rushing offense.
yo, but they passed it well. They can pass it well. I'm telling you, look, I'm telling you, and that defense
the
is going to eat them alive. That
defense,
defense is going to
the
eat them
defense
alive.
should carry Ohio State in this
That
game for
defense is going to eat
sure.
them alive, bro.
For
They're
sure.
gonna win. They gonna what's the score? The spread 14 and a
14
half.
and a
Ohio
half.
State. Ohio State wins by at least 17. Come on, at least 17.
This
They probably gonna win
this
by
game
20
is going to
something.
be this is going to be like a 27-17 kind of game.
No, it's not. It's gonna be
30 to
like
17.
35. It's gonna be like 35 to 14. It's gonna be a pretty decisive victory. It's not gonna be a 10 pointer. It's gonna be like 20 plus.
I don't know. I think Illinois is going to be in this game. They're going to push Ohio State, and maybe in the third, fourth quarter, Ohio
Bro,
State might pull away a little bit
I
and
know Illinois
do what they
got
do.
smacked by 50 points against Indiana, but they still lose that game by 20 points if their people don't get hurt. Ohio State would beat Indiana by 20 points.
Yeah, I think Illinois has a shot in this one. I think
I
this is
don't
not a
know.
game that we're going to be like disinterested in by halftime. Like this will be a game
I
in the
think
fourth
well maybe
quarter.
not. Maybe not. I mean maybe there's a backdoor cover by either team. I feel like either team could backdoor cover, but I think Ohio State is going to be up by 20 something in this game at the very least, but I feel like they win this game by at least 17. So I'm my pick is Ohio State cover.
Okay,
Bro, Jeremiah Smith, Cardinal Tate, pick your poison. Pick your poison.
beasts, both of them.
They giving Bo Jackson the ball now. Come on now. I mean, it's Bo Jackson, like reincarnated. What are we doing?
I don't know, man. Illinois, those players, they're in the Big Ten too. They got guys too. I think they could scheme against that run game,
I don't think it's a
and it's going to
bad.
be
I
on
don't
the
think they're a
road.
bad team, but they
It's going
not,
to be on the road, and it's going to be Julian Sane and the boys, and they're going to have to
bro. On the
shoot
road,
it
we
out.
acting like Illinois is a tough environment now. What are we doing?
Isn't game day going to be there?
No, it's gonna be in Eugene at a real game.
Who are y'all playing? Indiana?
Yeah, an actual
Yeah,
top
that's a
10
great
matchup.
game. That's a
An
great game.
actual top 10 matchup.
All right. You better hope. You better hope Ohio State handles business. You're gonna look silly
I'm not gonna
next
look silly. I
podcast.
said I feel like they're gonna backdoor cover.
You
I
were
feel like I said I feel like they could backdoor cover, but I just don't think it's as likely.
all right.
Like if they backdoor cover and Ohio State wins by 10, like does that really change your opinion of either team? No,
No.
it doesn't.
Well, I don't. Again, I don't think my opinion of Ohio State would get changed regardless. 'Cause I think they're gonna win. I just think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a
Nah,
good game.
I don't think this is gonna be close. Who do you
The
think is better, Illinois or Washington?
Illinois.
Do you think that they're that much better than Washington?
I think they would beat Washington by a touchdown.
Okay, and Ohio, what was the score of that game against Washington or Ohio
Washington
State?
had Ohio State in hell until the fourth quarter. It was 13
They
to
were no,
7.
they weren't.
It was
They were in
13 to
no
7. They were in
they were
hell. It
in
was late
no
third quarter. Ohio State,
they
the
were in no
stadium was
danger of
shaking.
losing
The
that
stadium was
game.
shaking. It was 13 to
No,
6. They couldn't score.
they
Washington
were
could
in
not
no danger
score.
of losing. They were in no
Okay.
danger of
Okay.
losing.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you watched that game and you thought that Washington had a chance, Washington couldn't
Yes,
score.
they were in the game. They couldn't score, but it takes one play. It takes one play. Denzel Boston streaks down the sideline. It's a tie game. They just didn't do it. Ohio State,
Because they're not that good.
Ohio State is not that good. They're cool.
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
we about to
Ohio
see.
State,
We're about to see.
yo,
We're about to
listen, bro.
see. We're about to
Ohio
see.
State still got the best two players in the country, and saying is getting better every week. I'm telling you, until I
We
see
about to see.
otherwise,
They
they
beat
are clear
Texas.
and
They
ahead the
played
best
they
team in the
played one
country.
good team. They beat Texas
All right.
14-7 at home,
No, it
barely,
was their quarterback's first start, and
barely,
he's actually a young
barely,
quarterback, not even
and then
like
their
Arch
next
Manning, who's in
the
his
next
third
good
year.
team that Ohio State finally
And
plays.
Texas got a good defense. We
Okay,
gotta respect at least that part about Texas.
the next good team Ohio State plays after Texas, Washington has them in hell. I'm telling you, they about
They
to
was
go
not
play
in
these
hell,
Illinois.
bro.
Okay, bro, they
In
were
that
in
game,
hell.
Washington literally couldn't do anything on offense. They couldn't do
Bro,
anything.
it was 14-6 until the fourth quarter. It was a one
Ohio State,
possession game.
they was
How was
playing
that?
that game like they was up by 20. That's really what it was.
But they
They
weren't.
was being ultra conservative because it was their quarterback's first road start,
And
and
he
they
was
was just,
shook. So he about to
bro.
go like
All right,
that's
you think he's gonna be shook again? He's not. He first of all, he probably wasn't even
I'm
shook
saying he's
the
playing
first
against a
time.
better team this time.
Bro, in that game, they play it that way because they know that they don't have to rely on the quarterback. They
Uh,
have good enough
uh,
players at every other position that they could play super conservative and still win by 20 against
all right.
Washington, who's a solid team. And they
All
did, and
right.
they're going to do the same thing. They're
All
probably going to
right.
be a little less conservative than the Washington game.
Let's see this not close clean win that Ohio State's about to get. I'm waiting for I'm gonna
They're
be
about to
tuned in
get it, bro.
Saturday.
They're
I gotta
about to
see
get it.
this. I gotta see
14
this.
and a half is the spread, right?
14 and a half. Yes,
All right,
sir.
they win by 17 plus. Okay, it's gonna be a three-score game in the end. Maybe Illinois backdoor covers, but I'm telling you, like with a few minutes in the fourth quarter, it's gonna be a three-score game.
Let's move on to the other big matchup in that noon slate over on ABC, a top 15 SEC matchup between Alabama and Missouri. Big one, Steph. How you feeling about this one? The spread currently, I didn't tell you what the spread was. Um, the spread is Alabama is a favorite on the road by 3.5 points. So Alabama minus 3.5.
I'm excited for this game because I can see it going either way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Missouri to cover, but I don't know. Like I think Alabama is clearly beatable. They have a lot of flaws on that team. They did play a lot better in the second half on defense against Vandy. Um, So I do feel better about Alabama than I did before, but I also feel pretty good about Missouri. I mean, Bo Prabula is a pretty good quarterback. Um, like I think this one's gonna be super competitive, and it's in Missouri, right?
Yes.
Like that could be the difference maker. I know Bama's a favorite on the road, but I think this one could go either way. Honestly, I don't think Alabama's like. I mean, they're obviously not unbeatable. They lost, but Um, I think Missouri has a chance to do something special this year, so I'm taking them to cover, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just outright win the game.
Yeah. Um, coming into the podcast, I think I was going to pick Missouri as well, but I don't know how I'm feeling because it was already a coin flip. I think I agree. I think Missouri's defense is very underrated. Like, not a lot of people are talking about it. And it's one of the better ones in the SEC, one of the better ones in the country. But I feel like if it does have a weakness or if it can be exploited, I think Alabama is the team to do it. Like, just the depth that they have at wide receiver, how well
Yeah,
their quarterback, Ty Simpson, has been playing, not turning the ball over. Um, I think they can attack that Missouri defense. I just think the key is obviously the offensive line. Missouri, I think, has one of the top sack rates in the SEC. Um, Alabama's offensive line obviously took a big step against Georgia a couple of weeks ago. Can they keep that up? Can they run the ball? I think Missouri, let's see, has the number one rushing defense in the country, giving up 56.8 yards a game. Obviously, Jam Miller broke out last game against Vandy. I think he had like 130 yards. He had that long touchdown run, or maybe two touchdowns, or was it just that touchdown at the end? I don't remember. But I know he had like 130 yards, so he finally started to get it going. I know a lot of like people that were high on Bama um, were saying that he was a big loss earlier on in the year, and I think we're starting to see that. So on the other side, though, I think Bama's defense isn't all that. Like, I don't think Bama has a great defense. And Missouri's offense, Ahmad Hardy's a freak. Um, so the best running back in the country right now,
Yeah, that
maybe.
guy's good. That guy's really good.
He- he- Through 7 games, he has 730 yards on 103 carries and 9 touchdowns.
Jesus
So
Christ.
7 yards a carry, and he's averaging over a touchdown per game. Like,
Like
okay,
I think in like last week the game the major key to the game was turnovers. If
hmm
Missouri plays a clean game, doesn't turn it over, I really think they could get it done.
I do too. Um, so yeah, maybe I'll keep my pick with Missouri. Um,
You know what? I feel like Alabama is just going to lose another game. It's either going to be the Missouri, Tennessee, or who else do they play? They also play Oklahoma.
LSU.
I just feel they not losing LSU. I'm gonna be honest. I'm totally out on LSU. I don't think they lose in LSU. But yeah, like I don't trust LSU at all. But I do think that Alabama loses one more regular season game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mizzou plus the points. I think it's safe. I think that just maybe Bama does win by a field goal, but I think Missouri at least keeps it within that field goal, or they win, like you said, flat out. So I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. Pretty good quarterback matchup too with Bo Pribula. He's been playing pretty good at Missouri since transferring from Penn State. Did Penn State make the right choice
Nope.
or the wrong choice? Maybe.
They made the wrong choice. They should have kept Bo. But you know what? I feel like even if they kept Bo, they wasn't gonna let him. They wasn't gonna have him playing like this. Honestly, I just feel like playing quarterback for Penn State is a death sentence. That's just the way
It,
I see it. Like
it
they've
is one of
had the
those things
same
year
guy
after
for about
year.
12 years. Yeah, they've had the same guy
Yeah.
for about 12 years, going back to when we was in high school. Like the names Sean Clifford, Christian Hackenberg, Trace McSorley, like none of them have been able to get it done really. Besides the 1 year in 2016. Other than that, and they had, like I said before, they had Saquon Barkley that year. But in terms of quarterback, they've never had a game breaker quarterback. They've always had okay quarterbacks. That was like the same archetype. And never really did anything special. And then they all end up NFL career backups. Like it's the same story every time. So don't if you're a quarterback, don't go to Penn State. If you're a quarterback or a wide receiver, don't go to Penn State, bro. If you're a running back, lineman, tight end, somewhere on defense, okay, you can go to Penn State and be pretty successful. But if you're a quarterback or a wide receiver, don't do it. Just don't do it. They don't develop those positions. Look what they lied to us about this year the most. It was quarterback and wide receiver. They lied. I'm not gonna forget this, bro. They lied to us so much all off season. So don't go to Penn State and play quarterback. Be like Bo Beulah, and if you go there, transfer out to a better team and
Wow.
end up having a successful career
Wow.
at
Missouri's a
Missouri.
better team than Penn State.
Absolutely,
What?
especially
No,
when you look at
no, absolutely. I'm just saying, like, that's really the reality that we live in.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, look, Missouri had a New Year's Six bowl appearance. Um, I know they lost to Ohio State, but no, 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 they won that one. I think it was the Fiesta Bowl or the Cotton Bowl with Luther Burden and them. But the point is, look at somebody like Brady Cook was a good college quarterback. Now you got Bo Beulah who's playing well so far. You know, you have an opportunity even at places like Missouri, who they're not the most historically good program, but they've been better in recent years. So you can go somewhere like that and be a pretty successful player. Instead of Penn State, same story every year, and it looks like it's getting even worse. So
yeah, I think this Alabama Missouri game should be pretty. special. Should be a fun one. Um, Two pretty compelling top 20 matchups kick off that noon slate. Um, Along with those two games that we just made picks for, Pitt, they travel to take on Florida State. I don't know how Florida State's still ranked, but they come in at 25 in the country. Florida State favored by 10.5 points. I think that's a little too much against that Pitt team. Pitt's not great, but they started their new freshman quarterback last week, exploded for a big offensive day. And so maybe they might have found something there and got some momentum. And Florida State, on the other hand, I mean, we called them out week one. We knew they were ass. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State wins that game. I'm not gonna act like Pitt is some good team. Pitt is also trash this year. So, UCLA, they travel to take on Michigan State. Michigan State favored by 8.5 points. That game is over on the Big Ten Network. Um, Over on the CW Network, one of the funnier matchups of the year. SMU's having a blackout at 11 a.m. Central Time against Stanford on the CW Network. So that should be an absolute electric atmosphere over there in Dallas. Um, Central Florida, aka Central, they travel to take on Cincinnati, FS1. Cincinnati favored by 10.5 points. I think Cincy has to be careful here. I don't think UCF is super dangerous, but I think this is a game that after a big win against after a big win against Iowa State, um, you can catch yourself, having a little bit of a hangover the next week against a team that you know is still playing for something. So we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot about Cincinnati this week and if they're legit threat in the Big 12, based on how they handled this game against UCF. Houston, they travel to take on Oklahoma State, TNT HBO Max. Houston favored by 14.5 points on the road. Um, that's pretty much it for the noon slate. At 12:45 p.m. kickoff, so like a 1 p.m. kickoff, or it'll be, I guess, 11:45 p.m. or a.m. local time. Ole Miss host Washington State. Pretty weird crossover game. Washington State traveling to Ole Miss. You think that's ever happened before?
I don't think so.
Probably not, right?
But remember when Mizzou went to UMass last year?
Yeah, like what was that about?
Just ridiculous.
All right. Um, let's move on then to the 3 p.m., 3:30 window. And let's kick it off with another big matchup. Top 10, Big 10, Indiana on the road, traveling to take on the Oregon Ducks. Steph, your Ducks are, it's loading 1 second, currently favored by 7.5 points. So just over a touchdown. Talk to me. How are you feeling
I
about
feel pretty
this
confident.
game, about this matchup? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident. I think we cover that. I think we win by 10 or more.
What makes you so confident? What do you like about you or not like about what about the matchup do you think you have the advantage in?
I think we have the advantage at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, defensive back. I don't know about the kicker and punter, but I think we pretty much have an advantage top to bottom. I know we have good players. Mendoza, Elijah Surratt's a really good wide receiver. But our DBs have been locked down all season so far. So I think they're going to play pretty well. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. This is going to be the toughest test for them this season so far in the regular season. Um, so I do expect some reps to be lost. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying we get a shutout or anything like that because I know Elijah Surratt's going to be playing in the NFL. Um, but yeah, like I just think we have really good players up and down the roster. I think our D line's gonna feast on their O line. Um, we've played Fernando Mendoza already when he was at Cal, and it wasn't too good of a day. I know that's a different team. That team was way worse around him, but our coach has experience against him, and he's gonna know his style and be familiar with what he does. So I think there's also an advantage there. Um, so it isn't really about like their team being bad or anything like that. Maybe at a few spots, I know um their one of their guards has been getting talked about on the internet, getting cooked all year. So I expect that to be a problem for him. You got guys like Bear Alexander, Amari Washington on the D line that have been putting in work all season. I expect them to have a pretty good day. So I just expect us to be able to, if we play well, we're at home. We're coming off a bye. I know they're coming off a bye too. But I think the bye week was big after that crazy emotional game. You have time to come down, recalibrate and really just get ready for this week. We're back at home. I think it's gonna be a good game for us. So yeah, I'm taking us to cover.
I think it's going to be a pretty interesting game. Um, I think both of these teams kind of profile similarly. I mean, Oregon, when it comes to yards per game, their offense overall is ranked ninth in the country. Indiana's offense is ranked fifth in the country. When it comes to scoring offense, Indiana's offense is ranked fourth. Oregon, again, right behind them at sixth. Even on defense, when it comes to yards per game overall, Oregon's defense is seventh in the country. Indiana's is fifth. And when it comes to scoring, Oregon's defense is sixth, and Indiana's is third. Um, I think the key to Indiana being in this game is the O line, like you mentioned. Um, I know they have been able to run block well so far this year, but I know that they have struggled a little bit to pass block, and that has caused Mendoza to have to do some heroics at certain times. And obviously, he has so far delivered with those heroics. Um, but again, that's not something I think you can ask your quarterback to do consistently. But look, I think if Indiana is able to, you know, limit Oregon's run game, which I don't think has been super dangerous. I think over the past couple weeks, we've watched it improve. I think some of your running backs are finally starting to um, break out. And the one kid, what's his name? Hill? Is that his name?
Yeah, Dare
Yeah.
Hill.
Dier, he's nice. Like, I could see him really like he took advantage of every single touch that he got in that most recent game against what's her face's Penn State.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
pretty sure he had 8 yards to carry.
yeah. Um, I again, I know you feel good internally because you know your guys. Um, but again, outside of the carrying Moore, nobody really truly popped to me for Oregon. Like, I don't know like who else Indiana is game planning around. And now obviously that's kind of how it works, right? You have a number one wide receiver, and that's his job. And now DeCarry Moore is pretty unguardable. I don't think Indiana's going to have an answer for that guy. So I think that's going to be their biggest issue. But I think outside of him, I think maybe they can have a chance to limit what Oregon wants to do in the passing game. Um, what's the over under? Let me see. Over under 55 and a half. I think I might take the under. I think this might turn into a little bit of a defensive game. I think Oregon's defense is definitely going to dominate. And again, Oregon's offense, I've seen Dante Moore so far. I trust him. So that's why I'm going to pick Oregon to win. Um, I wish the spread wasn't 7.5. I wish it was just like 6.5. Because now Oregon has to win by more than a touchdown. And that makes me nervous. Um, but I wonder if Indiana's going to be able to make Oregon uncomfortable on offense. at all. If their defense is going to be able to mess with Oregon, um, I think they're the so far they're the team best equipped to do so. But Oregon handled Penn State's defense pretty well. Again, Dante Moore at the helm of that. Um, so so after seeing that, it's kind of hard not to trust him in a situation like this. And he'll have the crowd on his back. He'll be at home. Um, so I think that will also assist that offense. But I am still looking week by week to see somebody, especially in the wide receiver corps, step up and help out Uno. Um, I think somebody definitely needs to relieve some of that pressure off of him, because I think if Indiana wants to double him, shade him, um, somebody else is going to need to make some plays on Saturday. And I'm not saying they won't, but I'm not sure who it will be. I know Malik Benson's a guy, right? Uh, what's the other kid name? Not Pat Taylor. Uh,
Gary Bryant.
Gary Bryant. Um, so I don't know. Tight end, obviously. What's his face?
Yeah, ain't
He's
nobody
nice.
like Sadiq.
Yes, yeah. Kenyon Sadiq, right? That's his name.
Yeah,
He's a freak. I think you guys involve him a lot. I think he needs to be involved even more though. Like if I could deal with that. If you guys are gonna start running the ball well, on Moore is gonna be who he is, like week in and week out, and then you guys start manufacturing Sadiq another 10 touches a game, somebody that can create with the ball in his hand, that can line up anywhere on the field. I think that will add and make Oregon's offense more dynamic and more dangerous. Because I don't know, watching them, it does feel like they're missing that oomph. Like obviously, they're consistent and they're steady, which is what you need. But um, yeah, I think they'll be fine against Indiana, though. I think Indiana should give Oregon some problems. I think this will be a good test for you guys and a nice game to really see where you're at. But I'm with you. Oregon wins.
yeah. I think our other wide receivers have played well whenever they've gotten a chance. I mean,
Right.
Gary Bryant scored that crazy touchdown
Touchdown. He did.
in against Penn State. I mean, he really came alive at the end of that game and
Definitely.
and made some plays for us, having some crucial catches. And if you like our all of our receivers between Decory Moore, Malik Benson, and Gary Bryant, they all have about equal catches, so nobody is really getting force fed the ball. Um, so that just tells me you can't really key in on one guy because whoever gets the opportunity is going to deliver. And then when you got a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, and then you also got to worry about Jamari Johnson. Like if he gets an opportunity, he makes plays as well. I mean he had another touchdown in the game against Penn State on the one time he got targeted. So that guy also makes the most out of his opportunities. I mean this is a team that can go 10, 11, 12 personnel and even dress it up with an empty look, but still be, in 10, 11, 12 personnel. We put the running backs out wide. We put the tight ends out wide in the slot. We move guys around all over the place. So, we're just super versatile, super multiple, and super balanced. I think we're about 50-50 run pass. Like, we can win in multiple ways. And I think that is something that is super important about our team. You can't just game plan for one thing. You can't shut one thing down, because we can do it all. So, um, stuff like that just makes me real confident about playing a lot of teams and with these different matchups and what everybody brings. I just wonder, if Indiana is also that kind of team. Can you stop one thing if they can't throw the ball well, they're going to be able to run the ball well, and vice versa.
Well,
So
I'll say this. I'm looking right now. They have four different running backs over 200 yards on the season. Um, I'll read off the averages. Hemby, their leading rusher with 65 carries on the year. He's averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Their second leading rusher, 6.3 yards a carry. Their third leading rusher, 8.9 yards a carry, and their fourth leading rusher, 7.7 yards a carry. Again, all of those guys over 25 carries, over 200 yards on the year. Um, so that's pretty damning. Their top rusher doesn't even have a touchdown of the year. All of the rushing touchdowns are coming from all the other running backs. And then the receivers, They have two receivers over 400 yards and six touchdowns this year. Obviously, we talked about Elijah Surratt, but Omar Cooper Jr. too. Um, Another guy who's been getting his game off. I think he had 400 yard or 500 yards all year last year, seven touchdowns. He's already almost eclipsed his stats from last year, averaging 18 and a half yards per catch. So Indiana has some guys, um, for
I mean,
sure.
I think they're a good team, but they haven't played a team like the Ducks yet. So
They have not. Um, Another thing I wanted to highlight before we move on that we haven't talked about yet, and that I think is probably just as important as what's going on the field, is the coaching matchup. I think right now, Dan Lanning and Kurt Signetti, you can argue, are two of the top three, top four coaches in the conference. Um, so this is going to be a really fun coaching matchup. I think right now, as we're recording this podcast, there is war going on in those meeting rooms, in those film rooms, and both of these coaches are getting both of their teams ready to play and game planning. Um, I think both of these teams are going to have a good game plan for the other, and it's really just going to be about execution of said game plan, because they both are talented enough to execute the game plans. It's just about actually getting it done on Saturday. So this should be a good one. 7.5 points is the spread. So Vegas thinks this will be about a possession game, whichever way it goes. Both teams 5-0, both teams undefeated. Winner of this game really has the fast track to the Big Ten championship game, although both teams still a lot of football left to play. Let's move on to the rest of these 3:30 p.m. games, and let's move on to our next pick. As the next game we will be discussing is the Red River Shootout, the Red River Rivalry, whatever
Red River
you want
Showdown.
to call it.
They changed the name like ten
Is it
times.
Showdown? I thought it was Shootout.
It was Shootout,
Okay. It
Showdown.
has like
They
yeah, it
changed
has
it
like a
multiple
million names.
times.
I know. They all
Yeah,
call it whatever. Yeah, that's true. Um,
I don't know what they called it,
Big
but
matchup. One of the best rivalries in all of the sport. Oklahoma, Texas. And hey, I mean, if you would have said at the beginning of the year that Oklahoma would be sixth in the country, undefeated, and Texas would be unranked at 3-2, that would have been a wild thing to hear. Um, uh, a lot of us would have probably expected it to be flipped. Texas undefeated, top five in the country, top six in the country. Oklahoma sitting on a couple losses, but no, Oklahoma has been looking fantastic, like one of the top teams in the SEC so far this year. Big wins over Michigan, big win over Auburn a couple weeks ago. Texas, on the other hand, lost their two biggest games so far, both on the road, both against Ohio State's a good team. Florida's not that great, but Texas now sitting at 3-2 in a bit of a crisis, identity crisis, just trying to figure out what's going on, how they are where they are, and where they can go from here. First step is this game against Oklahoma. Texas somehow favored it by 1.5 points. Um, and I think that's including John Mateer. I think if John Mateer wasn't playing, Texas would be favored by like 3.5 points, I think it was. So, although Oklahoma has seemingly been playing better football throughout the year than Texas, Texas still favored in this game. Your thoughts? Do you think that's fair? I mean, what's going on here?
is Mateer officially playing? Because
No one knows.
I know it was up in the air, but and what's the spread on that?
Texas minus 1.5 points.
I'm picking Oklahoma cover, even if
Yeah.
Hawkins plays. And here's why: good defenses have been eating this Texas team alive all year. Look at Ohio State, Florida, and Oklahoma. I think they have a better defense than Florida. I don't know if they're as good as
They
Ohio
do.
State, but you know,
Statistically, Oklahoma has the number one defense in the country.
okay, there it
Statistically.
is. Right, and I just kind of, I mean, of course, I take stats into account, but it's hard to, you can't just judge based off stats because
Right.
every
That's just
team
paper.
plays, yeah, and every
No, you
team
cannot. You
plays
cannot.
different games. They play against different teams, so you kind of have to evaluate
Correct.
based on that as well. So, you know, but from what I see, Brent Venables, when it comes to defense coaching, that man is cooking right now. Um, he's been cooking his whole coaching career basically. So, um, he eats young quarterbacks alive. He did the same thing against Auburn. Um, like I just think the trend is going to continue with Texas. I mean, they haven't really looked good against any team yet so far all season. Even when they played bad G5 teams, not even good G5 teams, they didn't play Tulane or Memphis or South Florida. They played San Jose State. Like they're not even good. They're not even a good Mountain West team. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I don't really have any type of faith in this Texas team. And this is somebody that I picked to win the national championship preseason. I kind of just assumed that they will be better, or be one of those top teams in the mix. Um, so it is what it is. They just haven't looked good. So until something changes, I'm not gonna pick them against any good team. Like I think Oklahoma is a better team than Florida. And I'm not even trying to do the transitive property. Like I don't even think this game is going to be as high scoring as the game against Florida. Like I don't know if Oklahoma scores 29 points, but I think Oklahoma can win this game scoring 25, maybe even 20. Because I just don't think that Texas is going to be able to do anything on offense. And I just think if we get anything out of Hawkins, and if Mateer plays, then I just think for sure that Oklahoma's going to win. But even if Hawkins plays, I think they have a good chance. I think it's going to be super close. And so yeah, I'm gonna pick Oklahoma to cover. And yeah, especially when after the game, Sark is up there saying um that they had to go into the swamp and play a game, and that other teams should see what it's like to play in there. I'm just like, bro, like with that type of excuse, you're never gonna win a national championship. You're not gonna win big games because that's an excuse. South Florida, and I'm not even trying to say this to make fun of y'all right now. South Florida went to the swamp and won in the swamp, bro. You're Texas. There's no excuse. You have all the money, all the resources, all the everything that y'all need. Y'all have all the talent. Y'all recruit at a top 5 level every year. There's no excuse for y'all to be losing these games. Okay? Arch Manning was the number one quarterback in his class. There's no excuse whether that was a fake ranking or not. I know he definitely has not lived up to that ranking so far, but there's no excuse. That's not what you should be hearing from a coach at this level after a game that they lost and they should have won. You're Texas. Florida was dead in the water. Their coach was about to get fired. He still might get fired before the season's over or after the season. But that's a team that was in shambles. And that's what you gotta say after the game. Oh, y'all should go to the swamp and see what it's like. Yo, there's no excuse. My team just played against Penn State in the whiteout and won. Like going on the road is part of the game. If you want to win a national championship, you're gonna have to go on the road and win a game. Um, Miami just went on the road and beat Florida State, and the stadium you're talking about was in a loss against South Florida. So please stop making the excuses. Like this mentality is not what's gonna win you a national championship. I bet you that if Indiana loses and Austin Signetti not gonna be up there saying that they lost because it was on the road. I bet you that.
Nah, that's real.
Like I just like to me that just tells me all I need to know about Texas. Like yeah, they're probably gonna win most of their games because they're super talented, but they're never gonna win. the big one. They're probably never going to win the SEC, and they're never going to win national championship. If that's the mentality, that's what you guys say. No, what you should be saying is we have to get better. That's really it. And point out where you need to get better at. Don't tell me it was because you was on the road and this and that, and other teams don't got to play. Yes, they do. Other teams do have to play there because every year Florida has at least 7 home games. So other teams do have to play there. So please stop making excuses. There's no excuse. You got all the talent and the resources. I don't want to hear it from Texas, of all places. Maybe if you're Arkansas, you can make that excuse. But you're Texas, there's no excuse.
Definitely. I'm with you. I, I don't feel confident with the Oklahoma pick, to be honest. Like, I think Texas could very well
I'm not that confident either, especially with
yeah,
Hawkins playing. But like,
first to like
I'm not
to
confident in
first to
Texas
20
though.
points, like you said. First to 20 points. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm no, neither am
yeah,
I.
like I just don't see it from Texas. Like when you have a quarterback that's like Arch Manning right now, where I think you can see the talent. I think if we were just on a just on a football field, if he was throwing the ball on air and you just say hit the target with the ball, I think he can do that all day long. But in the game environment, something is wrong where the mechanics are off. He's got happy feet in the pocket. He's throwing weird sidearm passes when he don't have to. He's throwing it to the other team even when there's a clean pocket. Like, look, I get last week he got beat up, and I don't even blame last week on Arch. Let me be clear about that. Them losing to Florida was not Arch's fault. Did he play well? No. Did he play horrible? No. They got beat up. Their line is not very good. They don't block. I think their running backs, wide receivers are a flop. I think their defense is pretty good. But Florida is also a talented team, and they were able to play together. And having Dallas Wilson also helps. DJ Lagway is a super talented player. He might be coming into form now. So they were able to score because eventually the defense is going to break down. You need help from the offense. You need them to hold the ball to give your defense a rest, and you need them to put points on the board so the pressure isn't on them the entire time. And Texas is not able to do that. Like I just think this team was super overrated, and I don't really feel confident in any of their players being difference makers. Honestly, like they told me about Ryan Wingo all this time. He's not a game breaking wide receiver. Like Dallas Wilson to me is better than him already,
Dallas Wilson is a god.
bro. That man is different. Like him, Malachi Tony, dogs. Like
Dogs.
like these young freshman wide receivers be going crazy nowadays. Like last
Yeah,
year
they
we
be
had
ready
Jeremiah
early.
Smith. Like Oregon got Decoria Moore. Like
Yeah.
these guys are good.
They're ready to play
Like
with day one and
right.
impact.
Like I think Wingo is a solid player. Like I don't think he's bad or nothing like that. But I think he's really the only one you really gotta worry about. I don't think anybody else is doing nothing. I don't think their running
It's
game is
their
very
running
good
game, yeah. Like their Texas used to be RBU. Like what
for
happened?
real. They used to, and their line just doesn't block, man. Their line just doesn't
Same with
block. And
Oklahoma though. Oklahoma can't run the ball either, and they can't throw the
yeah,
ball
it's
either.
so
So like,
weird. It's so weird.
like
It's
either of
so
these
weird.
teams can run or throw.
It's
Like
so weird.
how? Like what is gonna happen? What is gonna happen?
I just think Oklahoma is gonna have a more confident quarterback, regardless of it being Material or Hawkins. I really do. Cause the thing about being a backup quarterback, you playing with house money. Hawkins just got to go out there and be loose, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's move on. A lot more games to discuss. Over on the ACC Network, 3:30 p.m. Virginia Tech. They travel to take on Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech only a 14.5 point favorite. I feel like Georgia Tech should probably win that game by 3 touchdowns. Um, NC
I
State,
don't know, man.
no.
Virginia Tech got that interim coach boost, bro.
Yeah, they do. They do. You
They
think that you
won
think
last
they could,
week.
you think they might be able to do something weird?
I don't know. I don't know.
Georgia
I
Tech.
know Georgia
I
Tech.
mean, we all saw Georgia Tech. I don't think,
Bro,
what was it, last week or
they
two
should
weeks
have
ago?
lost against. It was 2 weeks. They should have lost against
Yeah, they
Wake.
got. I mean, they got cheated. The
They
ref
should have
saved
lost
them.
against Wake.
Yeah, the ref
But
saved them.
I think Georgia Tech's gonna win this one pretty decisively.
They definitely should. They definitely should. Another sneaky, good game. NC State. They travel to take on Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 23.5 points. That is wild to me. NC State has been playing some decent football. They're 4-2 on the year. I know they're going to Notre Dame, but that's a lot of points. Iowa State, they look to bounce back after their loss last week as they travel to Colorado, where they're favored by 2.5 points. Penn State, they're at home against Northwestern this week, 3:30 p.m. FS1. Um, Another good Big Ten matchup here. Nebraska, they are on the road this week to go take on Maryland, 3:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. Nebraska favored by 6.5 points on the road. I think that's wrong. I think Maryland, again, they had Washington on the ropes, man. They had them on the ropes.
They
They
should have won
fumbled
the
that
game.
game. They should have won that game. I think they could beat Nebraska. I think they could beat Nebraska for sure at
I think
home.
they can, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. TCU, they're on the road to take on Kansas State. 3:30 p.m. on Fox. Some Big 12 action. Kansas State 2-4 on the season, man. How disappointing. TCU only a 1.5 point favorite on the road though, so maybe Kansas State can make things weird. It's the Big 12. Anybody can be anybody. Throw the records out the windows. All those teams are pretty much the same um, when it comes to talent. 4:15 p.m. SEC Network. Tennessee is at home against Arkansas, favored by 11.5 points. And now we move into that 7 p.m., 7:30 window. Kicks off ESPN, 7 p.m., Florida. They look to make it two in a row against Texas teams as they travel to take on A&M. A&M currently a 7.5 point favorite at home. I think that's about right. Um, Great win last week from the Gators. I think we saw the peak and the ceiling of what this team could be, what a lot of us thought this team was going to be. Um, but you just can't expect Florida to put on a consistent showing and to play at that same level um, week in and week out. I mean, that's kind of why we're here. I mean, Florida under Billy Napier, I think is now 21-22. Um, so that is what we do. We win a big game, and then the next week we lose, and then the next week we win, and the next week we lose, and we stay 500. So not really feeling good going into this game. Billy Napier also was just not good on the road. I think he's 0-9 all time at Florida against top 10 teams on the road. I don't know why this all of a sudden would be the one that he wins. I think the matchup isn't horrible for Florida. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is a decent matchup for Florida when you're looking at like the styles of play and the teams and the rosters. I don't think Texas A&M is that much more talented. I don't know if Texas A&M is more talented than Florida. They may not be. I think they're both pretty close. Um, I think Florida's defense matches up well against the offense, Texas A&M's offense. I think Florida's offense matches up well against Texas A&M's defense. Um, but matchups are just on paper. The game again has to be played. I just see Billy Ball in full effect on Saturday. Just penalties that kill big plays and kill momentum, turnovers that kill drives, um, on not communicating on the defense side of the ball. I just last time we went on the road, DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions. So that's where I'm at with it. Florida will be in the game because they're going to be in every game they play this year because they're a talented team. But I think Texas A&M wins probably by about a field goal. So I guess I'm gonna take Florida to cover,
This is an official
but
pick.
um, I mean we don't have to. I'm just saying, like I think Florida would cover, but I I don't expect Florida to win.
Defensive coach going against William. I'm going with the defensive coach.
Yeah, yeah, go Gators. 7 p.m. FS1 Iowa. They travel to take on Wisconsin. Iowa's favored by 3.5 points. 7:30 p.m. on Fox. Big 12 matchup between Kansas and Texas Tech. Texas Tech at home, favored by 14.5 points over Kansas. You think Kansas could maybe give Texas Tech a run for the money at all?
Mm, I don't really think so. I don't think Kansas is that good. I think they're okay. They're probably gonna be a bowling team. I don't think they're really a threat for the Big 12 title.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech might run through this conference. To be honest, their offense is
Yeah,
pretty good.
I think they're gonna run away with it.
Yeah, we'll see though. The games must be played. The games must be played. SEC matchup, one of the biggest rivalries in the SEC. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Georgia Bulldogs back in action as they travel to take on Auburn this week at Jordan Hare. Georgia favored by 3.5 points on the road over their bitter rivals. I think Georgia should win this game. I think it should probably look similar to that Oklahoma game or maybe even the Texas A&M game that Auburn played in. Just Auburn not really getting much going on offense, and probably neither did Georgia. I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel great about Georgia's defense. So maybe this will be a game that Auburn can maybe get some offense going. Now that I think about it, um,
I
I
don't
don't know.
trust
This is not
Auburn at
technically
all.
yeah. This isn't an official pick, but like, do you have no hope, no faith in Auburn?
They let me down already. I mean, of course,
Yeah, I
I'm rooting
understand.
for
I
them to win
understand
this
that.
game,
Right.
but I don't think they're gonna win this game. I think this
I don't.
season is kind of flopping for Auburn.
Yeah, I think the matchup that we've been kind of talking about with Auburn, with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton out wide, I think this is their best chance against this Georgia secondary that really isn't super strong.
Yeah,
Um, it's just will Jackson Arnold make the right reads, make the accurate throws, and will he have enough time? Those are all questions that are going to have to be answered on the field on Saturday. I think Georgia should be able to score pretty easily on Auburn, though. I don't think Auburn's defense is trash, but I think Georgia has a pretty good offense. So I don't know. Maybe the over hits in this game. Moving along to our next official pick, another Big Ten matchup. This time out on the West Coast, as the Michigan Wolverines travel to take on the USC Trojans. The spread is currently in favor of USC by 2.5 points. Why do you make that pick? What are your thoughts on this game?
I don't really know, man.
It's
I feel
interesting, my
like
man.
this is like a coin flip to me.
Okay,
This really is. Um, what's the spread on that again?
2.5 minus 2.5 for USC.
In the Coliseum. See, the problem is Michigan's defense isn't that great. USC is soft though, but can Michigan throw the ball well enough? Am I really about to pick USC to cover? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna go.
Let's pick
I'm pick.
Michigan out of spite.
No, I gotta pick USC to cover, bro. They got a better quarterback, but they soft. Like I could see them just getting ran over.
Yeah,
You
bro.
know,
I'm sorry, but I'm going with Michigan.
I could see
I
them
ain't
just getting ran
I
over.
ain't picking USC. Um, Michigan, Justice Haynes, he's a freak. He been running all over them. I think Bryce Underwood, he's gonna get loose running the ball. And I think Michigan, if they can keep that USC offense off the field, I don't see no I have no thoughts as to why they can't win this game 24-21, 24-17, like a low scoring game. Bryce Underwood, yes, he's not an electric passer, a super dynamic passer at this point in his career. Um, but he can throw way better than they were able to throw in the past. Um, they
You
actually
can
have a
see the talent
competent
on that guy.
right. They have an actual competent passing offense at this point.
Their wide receivers are so bad.
They're not great. They definitely are not great. But USC isn't a super elite. I mean, I think USC's defense schematically is much improved. Like their team defense is much better. They play much better team defense this year when you're watching them play the game. But individually, they still don't have the guys yet to truly make that to catch up to with the scheme that they're playing. So I think Michigan is going to be able to lean on them a little bit. I do. So I'm gonna take Michigan plus 2.5. Again, we've been agreeing a lot on some of these picks, so I got to disagree with you on a couple. I'm gonna go Michigan plus 2.5 here. But this game, like you said, is a coin flip. I like USC this year, and this is a big chance for them to get a top 25 win.
Yeah.
Um, Clemson down the road taking on Boston College this week. South Carolina, they travel to Death Valley to take on the LSU Tigers. LSU favored by 9.5 points in that game. 7:45 p.m. SEC Network. BYU, they're on the road against Arizona. 8 p.m. ESPN2. That's a that's a sneaky one. BYU has a freshman quarterback on the road. Arizona's been playing much better, much improved than they were last year. BYU only favored by a point and a half on the road. Our final pick of the day, though, is a big one in the Big 12. Some Big 12 after dark. A potential preview of the Big 12 championship, although I think loser of this game will have two Big 12 losses at this point. So maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this is technically an elimination game this early into the season, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's Arizona State. It's Utah. Utah at home, favored by 5.5 points. We all know Utah is one of the best teams when it comes to playing and defending their home venue, their home field. Pretty sure they got took up top by Texas Tech at home. Was that game in Utah? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
it was. And Arizona
Yeah.
State does not have a conference loss yet.
Okay. They lost to SEC. You're right. I forgot.
Yeah, it was in Mississippi State.
So Utah back at home trying to defend. They're building Arizona State on the road, one of the better environments in the Big 12. Again, Utah minus 5.5. Steph, what are your thoughts on this one? Who are you picking? Where are you going?
I'm going Arizona State cover, man. Utah, first of all, they want to talk about Utah's home environment. They've been losing at home these past 2 years. I don't think they even have a Big 12 win at home yet. There was some crazy stat like that, like because last year was kind of a disaster with the quarterback nonsense, and they lost their game against Texas Tech. So maybe they do now because last week, but I don't really trust Utah anymore, man. I mean, they got kind of cooked, and Arizona State is still a solid team. Yeah, they did beat West Virginia, or it was at West Virginia, so not at home yet. And yeah, they don't have a Big 12 win at home yet. So yeah, I'm going Arizona State cover.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Arizona State to cover two. I want to pick Utah, but I just don't trust their defense. I think Utah's offense will be able to have them and keep them in this game. I think it's going to be a pretty dynamic, high scoring game, a fun one. But their defense, man, they just looked super soft, just couldn't tackle, just the fundamentals, all the things that Utah, you know, Utah always does right. They just were doing wrong against Texas Tech. And I think Arizona State is probably similar level to that Texas Tech, especially the offensive side of the ball. Um, Arizona State definitely one of the better offenses in the Big 12. So I think they will definitely give Utah some trouble um, on that side of the ball. Again, I think Utah, their offense should, again, be able to do some things in this one, but and that's why I kind of want to believe in their offense in their home environment, but I don't, I can't, I can't. I need some wins. I need some wins. So that will do it then for our week 7 picks. Let's run back through them. Ohio State at Illinois. I went with Illinois plus 14 and a half. Steph, Ohio State minus 14 and a half. Bama at Mizzou. We both went with Mizzou plus 3.5. Indiana at Oregon. We both went with Oregon minus 7.5. Um, although maybe I'll go Indiana. I'm gonna do a last minute change. I'm gonna go Indiana plus 7.5. We agree too much on this episode, so I'll take Indy in that one to cover. I don't think they'll win, but maybe Oregon only wins by like a field goal or by 4 points or something like that. Who knows? Oklahoma at Texas Red River shootout. We both took Oklahoma minus 1.5. Michigan at USC Junior. Um, USC West. Michigan plus 2.5. USC minus 2.5. For Steph. And then Arizona State at Utah. We both went with Arizona State plus 5.5. Now, Steph, before we get into Clown of the Week, we talked about it on the last episode. We want to potentially revise our playoff picks. So the floor is yours, Steph. Halfway through the season, what are your playoff picks looking like? Updated.
All right, so I did update it with my 12 team bracket. At number one, I got Ohio State. I think they're gonna go 13-0, win the Big Ten, and get the number one seed. At number two, I got Miami. I think they're also going to go 13-0, win their conference, and get that number two seed. At number three, I got my Ducks. I think we go 12-1, lose to Ohio State in the Big 12 title game, but still get that top four seed. Um, and at number four, I got Texas Tech. I think they go 13-0 and win the Big 12. And I think that's just because strength of schedule from the Big 10 over the Big 12. Teams like Oregon has, and I would say the same thing if it was reversed. Like if Oregon went 13-0 and then Ohio State went 12-1, I would put Ohio State ahead of Texas Tech as well. Um, but I do have Miami over Oregon because they would be 13-0, win their conference, and they have some good wins. So that's my top four. Number one, Ohio State. Number two, Miami. Number three, Oregon. Number four, Texas Tech. Um, so I guess the big thing about that is for me, I don't have any SEC team in the top four, and that's because I think they're all going to have multiple losses by the end of the season. Um, I just think that conference is so deep; they're going to cannibalize each other, and anybody can really beat each other. And I think at the top end, I think the Big Ten is better with Oregon and Ohio State. Um, so yeah, that's my top four. And then where's my five? At five, I have Alabama. At six, I have Georgia. At seven, I have Texas A&M. At 8, I have Indiana. At 9, I have Ole Miss. At 10, I have Notre Dame. At 11, I have Tennessee, and 12, I still have Tulane. So I do have a lot of SEC teams in there because, like I said, I think that conference is so deep. I think a lot of them are worthy of the playoffs. I don't think the ACC and the Big 12 get multiple teams in. I think maybe the only chance for an ACC team to get in is if Georgia Tech, um, Louisville or Virginia somehow get to the conference championship with one loss or zero losses, then I will. Then I think the ACC will get two teams in, or in the scenario that Miami goes 12-0 and then loses the ACC title game to one of those teams. And the same thing for the Big 12. I think that would have to be the scenario for them to get two teams in. Um, but I just don't think that that's likely to happen. So I really only think there's only going to be one Big 12 team and one ACC team. And um, let's see, how many SEC teams do I have? I have one, two, three, four, five. So yeah, and then I thought maybe the Big Ten would get four before, but with Penn State flopping, I don't think that's gonna happen. Um, and then with that, that also opens the door for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is gonna finish 10-2, and I think they'll get in there. Um, And then I still have Tulane. There's nothing that really makes me switch my pick against Tulane. Like, yeah, South Florida beat Florida, but they also got smacked by Miami.
Miami.
So I think they're about equal to Tulane because Tulane also did lose to Ole Miss by a lot. And then you have Memphis out there. So I think it's really going to be whoever wins the American. Also North Texas. Wait, North Texas is in the American, right?
I think they are an American,
Pretty sure in
so
the American. I know they play South Florida on Friday, so that's going to tell us a lot. I'm actually excited about that game. So I think whoever gets the G5 bid is going to be between North Texas, South Florida, Memphis, or Tulane. So I'm pretty confident with that pick. I mean, you still got UNLV out there that's undefeated. So I
right.
mean, I gotta put them
Mountain
on
West.
notice. Yeah, put them on notice because if they go 13-0, they're going to be in. Um, but yeah, like I feel more confident about this. I mean, we also have you know some games of data. Texas and Penn State and Clemson have completely fallen all the way down. I don't think any of those teams are going to get in. I mean, I know Clemson's not getting in, but I don't think Texas is getting in. I think Texas loses to Texas A&M at this rate. And then with three losses, that's done. And they might lose to Oklahoma this week anyways. So I think their season is going to be ended. And um, LSU as well. I don't trust them. I don't. They're not making the playoffs. They're another team that everyone lied to us about, just not on the level of Clemson, Penn State, and Texas. So that's why LSU is not in there. And I just think Oklahoma isn't really there yet um, to make the playoffs. I think they're like right there. I feel like I really like them. I think they're a pretty good team, but um, I think I can trust these other teams to win and have two loss records at the end of the season. I almost put Mizzou in there, but it was for me. It was between like Mizzou and Tennessee, but I kind of trust Tennessee a little bit right now, and I think they have a good chance of beating Alabama. So that's really
Did you have
my
Georgia?
bracket, I guess. Yeah, I had Georgia. I had Georgia at 6, just right behind Alabama.
Question for you, purely hypothetical. Now, you had Notre Dame in at 10-2 in yours.
Yeah,
If Florida goes 9-3, who's in? 9-3 Florida or 10-2 Notre Dame?
that's a good question because Florida would have some really nice wins at that point,
Yeah.
and I told you preseason that if Florida went 9-3, that they would need something to happen for them to get in.
Yeah.
I think if Notre Dame was 11-1, they get in. But at 10-2, especially with USC not really being that good of a team, and they very well might lose to Michigan this week. Like if Notre Dame beats a USC team that finishes 8-4, I don't think they're gonna get a lot of credit for that. But um, looking at Florida, let me look at Florida's schedule
I'll tell you right now, we
because
we would have wins over. A&M. We'd have a win over Ole
Right,
Miss. We'd have a win over
right.
Georgia. We'd have a win over Tennessee. And you could throw Florida State in there, but I wouldn't throw
Yeah.
Florida State in there. Kentucky and
Well,
Mississippi
all right.
State would
So,
be the other three.
but I would say this in that scenario, um, one of those teams might get knocked out of the playoffs. So you still might get Florida and Notre Dame.
Right. It's true.
So, I mean, it would really just depend on everybody else because now we're getting to okay. I would have to look at Georgia's schedule and their loss because they already lost to Alabama, and I don't know if there's another game they could lose besides the Florida game in that scenario. Same with Ole Miss or Tennessee. Tennessee has a loss. Ole Miss is undefeated. So it would depend. Like if Ole Miss finishes with one loss, I mean they will probably be in the SEC championship anyways, and in that case they're getting in. Um, okay, they beat LSU already. They got to Ole Miss got to play Georgia, Oklahoma, and Florida are their losable games in my opinion. Um, at least in this scenario, I don't know if it's really losable. The Florida's case, no offense. I mean, even Mississippi State is solid, but still, yeah, like I think in that case you might knock one of them teams out for Florida to get in, anyways. But I do think it's a really good question. I mean, just straight up, just weighing it, like if I had to pick one between Florida and Notre Dame, I might pick Florida. I'm gonna be honest. I might pick Florida. I really might. Um, I just think they have a way tougher schedule, and it's like what they lost to South Florida. That would be the thing because they lost to a bad team. Well, not a bad team. South Florida is a good G5 team, but they should not have lost that game.
They should not have lost that
Point
game.
blank. Period. Point
Nope.
blank. Period. Um,
Notre Dame had a loss like that last year to a worse
and
G5 team
made
and
it to
still
the
got
national
in.
championship, but they were
Yep.
11-1 though, right?
It's true.
That's
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 true.
a little different. You
Yep.
lose to South Florida, LSU. I mean, I guess LSU and Miami. It's perfectly normal to lose to, but it's tough. I think the LSU one hurts them the most because I just don't think LSU is going to be there in the end. I mean, we'll see because they're still ranked number 11. They're 4-1 right now. So, I mean, they play South Carolina. I don't know. We'll see. They got to play Vandy, A&M, Bama, and
Yeah.
Oklahoma. So,
It's a lot of ways it could still work out, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. Like with the way the SEC is, I still think there's going to be like five of them that get in just because it's such a deep conference. But yeah.
Yeah. I came unprepared, so next week I'll have my top 12 in order um, for everybody. Let's go ahead and switch to our final segment, Clown of the Week. Stuff, I got two of them this week. Um, do you have any?
Yeah, I do. I have at least one. I might remember another one though. So go ahead.
If you got one, you can start us off and you only have the one.
Um, all right. So my clown of the week is once again Bill Belichick. I mean, this guy just keeps hitting us with the clownery. This dude is just a straight up bona fide clown, man. It's every day with this guy, bro. It's every day with this guy. Um, it was reports coming out today that apparently Bill Belichick is thinking about having an exit strategy, trying to get out of his job at coaching for UNC if he can find a spot for in a media job. And it's just like, bro, like you thought that this college football shit was gonna be sweet, bro. This is not the NFL. Honestly, like I in some ways you can argue that it's harder to win in college football than it is in the NFL because you don't get better players for losing. You don't get the highest rated recruits for losing. If you go 0 and 12, you're just going to go down and down and down. And a coach has to get better in increments every year because you have to build the program up. You're not just getting the same pool of talent as everybody else. Like, yes, it's easier to win at teams that have the history and the resources and all that. But at a place like North Carolina, like yes, they're in a pretty good place compared to a lot of schools, but people aren't going to just go there because of the name. People go to Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State because of the name. That's just what it is. There are kids who grew up rooting for those schools that are going to those schools as soon as they get the offer. It doesn't matter what's going on, who the coach is, or anything. They will go to that school because of that. And even if they don't, they're picking between the top schools when you're talking about the top level of talent. Um, you know, so I just think he was a little bit in over his head, and it's a weird thing to say about somebody like Bill Belichick, who's been in the NFL for so long and won at such a high level, winning what 6 Super Bowls, like or five, 6 Super, whatever. Like it just boggles my mind how you have this dude that's 70 something years old, done all that, and seems like a friggin' doof. How are you this old and this stupid? I mean, like this it's a different world in college compared to NFL. And the first year was going to be bad anyways. Like you're taking over a dumpster fire of a program. Their previous coach got fired. This is the transfer portal era. All the good players are going to leave. So you're starting from zero. And I know they brought in 70 good players and 70 good players, 70 new players because this is what people want to do. They want to bring in their guys that want to that they try to fit to their scheme and want to be there with that coach or whatever. And it's like, okay, but you brought these players in. Now you're completely screwing them over because it's your first year. They think you're at least going to be there for their time. Now you're already leaving. Now a new coach is going to come in and who knows if those guys have a spot on the team still. And it goes back to what I said last episode as well, where I talked about how a G5 coach said that he was losing players to them in the portal, and he was like, "Well, why am I competing with North Carolina when I should be competing with G5 teams for these players?" And that right there tells us that they don't even have a clue. They don't even have a clue. You should be getting guys that left Louisville, Virginia, you know, other ACC teams, other Big Ten teams that aren't playing or whatever the situation is. Those are the people you should be getting, not people that are thinking about going to, uh, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns or something like that, or Troy. Like those are not the players you should be going after. I just don't understand how you don't know this. Like you don't get and you're not going to be able to just scheme your way out of everything in college football. Again, even if in the NFL, if you don't have players that are as good as the other players, they're still NFL players. The talent gap is minuscule because on their college team, they're all among the best. Even if they're not a big name NFL player, they're still an NFL player and they made a 53-man roster. And that's why you see even on teams that go 2-2 and 15, they win those 2 games because they still have the talent and sometimes things just click and the other team plays bad and you win a game. But it's not like that in college football. It's not like that at all. Talent is everything. And this is like what we're talking about. Why I keep bringing up Texas, Florida, uh, Florida, Penn State, and what was the other team? Clemson. Mostly Penn State and Clemson because all we heard about was the returning players and everything they had coming back. But experience does not mean better. Talent is more important in college football because what did we also talk about today? Multiple true freshman wide receivers killing the game right now, like we saw with Jeremiah Smith. And this year we're seeing Malachi Tony, Dallas Wilson in one game, and Decorian Moore. Malachi Tony's only, I think he just turned 18. He was 17 years old, putting in work the first part of the season. So, it's just a different game. You have to acquire good players. Like I still remember when Oregon got blown out by Georgia in 2022, Dan Lane's first game, and Kirby Smart at the press conference. just said straight up, we have better players. That's it. He said Dan Lann's going to do a fantastic job. We just have better players because he knows the game, and this is one of the best coaches in the game right now. Top three coach in the game right now, probably top two, in my opinion, top two. Um, but part of the reason why he's top two is because he knows what it takes to win. You can scheme all you want, but at some point you're going to need a player to take over. North Carolina has done that. I've watched them in person against UCF get their doors blown off of them. And it just boggles my mind. And then it goes along with, I don't know if you saw the report about how they're canceling the documentary that they
Yeah.
were doing on for Hulu. And it's like, well, you should still do the documentary even if your team sucks because it could still make a good documentary. But they didn't want to put it out there because they're ass. They didn't want to show the negativity of it. But it could still make a good documentary because then you could follow it up if you improve. Then the next one you do is about how you got so much better. But you know, I mean, this is what my question always was from the beginning when we first heard of this man getting hired. I'm like, well, he retired from the NFL. He's already 70 something years old. Is he going to stick around to build a program? I don't think so because that's what it takes in college. Even in the transfer portal era where you can flip a roster so fast, it doesn't mean you're just going to be a contender all the way. You might be better than what you should have been, but again, it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get to where you want to be and fill all of your holes, pause, and get the roster where you need it to be and get continuity with your coaches. He's not going to be 80 years old coaching college football. So yeah, Bill Belichick is just a clown. Clown of the week, clown of the year, just clownery every time, man.
All right. I have two clowns of the week. First clown of the week slipped my head earlier in or slipped my mind earlier in the week. Um After Florida's win on Saturday, Florida's GM decided to send a tweet out um saying not bad for some Billy and the boys. Seemingly, just taking a shot at the fan base as well as some haters. Um, and I just think that it was completely tone deaf and just absolute clownery. I shouldn't have to explain that. I think it should be obvious. Like, you just have to read the room, but you're in no position to be taking any shots at anybody. Like, yeah, good win. Now what? To be sitting here and acting like you guys accomplished anything in the 4 years here at the University of Florida. Billy Napier is the only Florida coach ever to not finish a single year in the AP top 25 poll. Like, this is an historically ass staff, and you're taking shots at the fan base, who, by the way, filled up the stadium
But
this
what did he
past
say?
week. He just tweeted, "Not bad for Sunbelt Billy and the boys." Just just being like snarky
Mm,
because they're aware of the whole Sunbelt Billy thing. The
mm.
Florida Gators quarterback coach was also searching up his name and liking tweets that didn't even mention
So you
his at
still have a losing record,
21 and like still under 500 as a staff, and you're
bro.
liking old tweets
And
and
y'all beat
taking
a Texas
shots.
team that's ass. Like,
Like,
let's be clear. Y'all did not beat a good team. Y'all did not beat one good team all season so far. So stop it.
and it's
Everybody has been
just
talking about how ass Arch Manning has been in this Texas team in general.
and it's just what has been the theme for Florida. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we were flaming Billy Napier for talking about, oh yeah, I'm going to stay the offensive coordinator because this is how we got where we are. Like, this whole entire building, this
Yeah,
whole entire
exactly.
organization from
That's
top to
how you got
bottom,
where you are.
from GM to head coach, they are just unaware. They just lack awareness, like zero self awareness. Um, and it's just clownery at this point. Like just complete and utter clownery. The fact that you have coaches liking tweets and like, and then he deletes the tweet too. That's the thing. He deletes the tweet.
Yeah,
Like at
say it
least
with your
stand on it.
chest. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
got
like
backlash, rightfully so, and then deleted it. No,
like
keep it
just
up.
yeah, just complete idiots. Uh and that's the reason why I didn't. That's just part of the reason why I can't pick Florida to win this weekend.
And
It's
you know
just
what? This is why they never gonna win. It's the mentality.
it
Y'all trying to
is.
celebrate after being a shitty team at home when
Like, come on, man.
y'all need to be trying to win as many as you can and try to go bowling. Cause y'all still are not on the track to going bowling. Y'all still not on the track to go bowling. Look at good teams. Look at actual good teams and how they operate. You don't see Ryan Day tweeting BS like that. Oh, pretty good for good old Ryan. No, you supposed to win that game.
Right.
You supposed to win that game.
Like, why are you even? Why? How do you even know what Sunbelt Billy is? Like, why are you even on Twitter enough to see
Bro,
people calling you that?
yeah,
Like,
you need to
you're
turn off
you're
your
a head
phone.
coach. What
You need to
happened
be
to
watching
Lions don't
film
concern themselves with sheep? Like, this is the same
because
staff,
he
by the
ain't
way.
no
That
damn lion.
I'll tell you some more intel. And this happened years ago. This is an old story. Gator fans all know this already, but for people that might not follow the Florida Gators and their staff as closely, this staff 3 years ago, after their first year, and it was a disaster, had a meeting in the offseason on who to unfollow and block on Twitter. They had a staff meeting about
Wait,
what
what?
Twitter trolls to block, unfollow. Like, what? That is what you
Bro,
guys are worried about?
y'all grown ass men.
You guys just went 6-6 in year one. And you're talking
Bro,
about Twitter?
y'all deserve the backlash for that. Y'all need
Right.
to read it,
Right.
actually.
Right. That
Y'all
is
need to
my
read
whole.
it.
Oh man,
Y'all
that is
need to read
just
it, bro. Yo, why are these people on so much of this clown ass shit, bro? Y'all
just
getting me
clownery.
hot right now. Y'all getting
Just
me
just
hot right now.
just
What is
clownery.
this? This some clown ass shit, bro. What are we talking about right
Like
now?
taking shots at the fan base that continues to fill up the stadium, mind you, super
Go watch
loud
yo
of
bum asses coach and play.
bums, mind you, had multiple false starts called on Texas and delays of games because of the crowd being into the game, making noise, and you're about to get blown out by 30 points against Texas A&M next week. Let's see if you're going to tweet about that. Let's see if you're going to tweet after that game.
Bro, we
Brett
need to
McMurphy
stop
going to
calling this
tweet.
man
Brett
Billy.
Brett McMurphy going to tweet. I'll tell you that. We gonna get that
Yeah,
Pete Thamel tweet. We gonna get that Pete Thamel
yeah,
tweet.
that's what you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
yeah, yeah. He gonna be tweeting.
Y'all need to stop calling this man Billy. Call this man William. You need to
William.
earn that. Y'all need to earn that nickname back. I'm tired of calling the clowns by their damn
It's government. It's his
nicknames.
government from now on. William.
Yeah, William. Same with Mr. Belichick, calling his ass William.
I always just, I just always thought it was the most clown shit when like when players beef with fans. Like,
Oh, and
I
speaking of that,
understand, like as a player, it can definitely be frustrating how fickle fans can be and how hot and cold they can be, and like some fans, I'm sure, truly treat some of these players and talk to some of these players like they're not human or like they're like shit. So like, I'm not gonna act like there's not nuance to this, right? But I even like, and this doesn't have to do with football, but I was listening. Right now, the MLB playoffs are going on, and the Phillies, one of their players was talking about how he doesn't even like playing at home because, oh, fans are like the wind. When the wind is on your back,
bro,
it's good because the ball is going
y'all
to
so
fly
damn
forward. But
soft.
when the wind is in your face and blowing in your face, it's not good because the wind is against you,
It's
and the
soft,
fans are the
bro.
same
You're a
way.
damn millionaire
What do you mean? If you
professional
suck, you
athlete.
deserve to get booed by your
Yeah,
fans.
what are
If you
we
play
even talking
good, you're going
about?
to get cheered for. That's how it works. You're a professional baseball player. You're a college football coach. You're a college football player. Like, why are you worried about the fans? Lock the fuck in and do your
Yo,
job.
seriously, seriously.
Just clownery. Just clownery. Um, and then my
And speaking,
second,
now
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Well, hold on,
No,
now
no.
before you get that, let
Yeah,
me
I was gonna switch
because
off.
it's
I was
on
gonna
topic. Because
switch.
it's on topic.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Did you see what Aiden Child said about the fans?
Yes, I will say. And unfortunately, it's gonna ruin it. But that clip is 11 months old. That was from last year.
Oh,
So
it's from last year. Oh, so they was that was because
yeah,
they was ass.
Yeah, yeah. So a little less funny. It was out of context, but I did see, I did see that. I did see that earlier today. Yeah, I did see that. But I learned that that was from last year, so it don't quite hit the same. Um,
Yeah, yeah, they was ass last year, anyways.
but all right, my second clown of the week goes to um the NCAA D1 Administrative Committee.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Yep, 7 hours ago, Matt Zenitz reported that the NCAA D1 Administrative Committee has approved a change that will now allow college players and staff members to bet on professional sports. This has to be the most idiotic decision that has been made in quite some time. I mean, the most obvious thing is majority of these players and staff members that are at this high of a level have connections and relationships with professional athletes and coaches as well. So, what stops head coach William Napier from calling his good buddy that coaches on the Cardinals staff and getting information? What stops Caleb Downs from calling that Steelers scout that he knows and asking for inside information? And this goes for every sport. All of these top D1 players, coaches, staff members, a lot of them are intertwined, connected to professional sports. This just feels like a free infinite money glitch for anybody with a relationship to a pro player. Now, obviously, the FBI can still track text messages. It's not that easy. Like, you can't literally just call somebody. But I don't understand how they feel this is protecting the integrity of college football games. Like, I know a lot of these college players bet regardless on some of these games because they're college kids,
I
but
mean, yeah, we've had multiple clowns of the week that have done it.
right. But this just does not make sense to me at all in my brain. Like, for many, many obvious reasons. Um,
Yeah, I really don't get it. I think this is dumb, honestly. And it's like, as much as I don't, I mean, I'm not against gambling, but I honestly think it's become a little bit of a problem in regards to sports in general. Like, it just seems like it's the focus for way too many people. Like, it's all you hear. You watch TV, and every commercial is about like some betting thing, and a lot of people don't even watch sports unless they're betting on it. I'm just like, bro,
yeah,
watch
that's crazy
sports
to me.
because you like the sport. Why
Yeah,
do you have
that's
to be
nuts.
gambling on something to care about it? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. Um, how it's just so injected into our lives. Like, I don't care if people do it, obviously, but like,
Right. Yeah, like I throw a
it's
parlay in
just
every
too
once in a
much.
while, for sure. But yeah, to get to the point where you're only watching games that you're betting, like, nah, that's OD. It's to a point, and
Yo, and these people are
it should
sick,
not be hand in hand with our leagues and our games. Like NFL, NCAA should not have betting sponsorships.
bro,
That is direct opposite of what they should be doing.
bro,
Like, how do we know
and
they're not in cahoots with the refs and all that? Like,
I know, right? And I know, like, it's just crazy to me. Like, it's everywhere. You can't, like I said, you can't watch a game without seeing it. And there's some sick people out there. They're betting on, G5 games. You know, some teams you never heard of. It gets pretty ridiculous. Like, it's out of control the way these people are, because it really is an addiction for some people.
yeah, no, it really
It's
is.
one of those things
They're chasing
that,
that high, you know?
right, it's in and a lot of times it's worse than drugs, because You can get away from drugs from people that use drugs. You can't get away from a cell phone. And you can gamble on your cell phone. It's so easy. One touch of a button. You don't have to leave your house. As long as you got money in your account, you can gamble it away. And there's nobody stopping you. And nobody can stop you from using a cell phone. So, especially when it's talked about so much, like pretty much in everybody's circle that watches sports, there's gonna be at least one gambler.
Right.
I mean, and
And
people
and
ask me, bro, people ask me about betting all the time. All the time. I'm like, yo, I don't gamble. So don't just
even on
go
the
off what I
pregame
say.
shows too, though they'll do the best picks of the week, and
Yeah,
this is our
yeah, yeah.
ESPN College Game Day parlay. Bear picks on the NBA games. Jalen Rose, he'll do his ESPN pick. Like this is like you said, it's like so embedded into our games nowadays. It's fucked, to be honest. It's not good. Not good at all. They need to make gambling more illegal for the athletes, not more legal. It doesn't make sense. But so yeah, for that they're my clowns of the week. I just don't have a good feeling about this. I don't know the full details. I don't know when it goes into effect. I'm sure we'll get more details on that.
I'm pretty sure they still have to approve it fully.
Okay, right. But yeah, long show today. Probably longest one in a couple weeks. Had a lot to talk about. A lot of good games. Um, super
Yeah,
excited.
this week is a packed slate.
Yeah, it definitely is from 12 to 10 to the after dark. We got there'll be a couple good games in every slate. So make sure your Saturday schedule is clear and you can just enjoy that full slate of college football. We'll be back next week to break it all down, to react to it all. Until then, or I guess before we close out, Steph, anything else? Are we all good, right?
Yeah, I think we hit everything.
Oh, wait, nope, we did not. We forgot one thing, another piece of important news. Um, Let me just find it real quick so I can communicate it properly. Um, the NCAA D1 Administrative Committee did approve that there will now officially be one single transfer portal window, which will be a 15-day window that runs from January 2nd to the 16th. I also heard that um, when a coach is fired or leaves your school, that window that opens up for the transfer players will now open up 15 days after I think the season ends or something like that. It's not as immediate as it was. It was like before, or after he leaves. I forget the exact terminology on it. I'll have it for next week, but some changes to the transfer portal timing and ruling. So
Yeah, I thought that
maybe
was been
that'll
out.
I think it's been
That
out for
it,
like probably a couple days, but I don't think we talked about it last week. I
yeah,
don't even think it was
yeah.
out last week. I think it's only been out for like
Then,
two
I
days.
don't know, cause I be it be seeming like time be passing so fast, but yeah, I thought that was been out that there's only one window now, and
Okay, real
and
quick.
before when a coach left, it would be you had 30 days, and it would be as soon as they got
Yes.
fired.
Yes. Instead of players having a 30-day window to enter the transfer portal after a coach is fired, players will now have to wait until 5 days after a new head coach is hired to enter the portal. And then that window will be 15 days instead of 30,
Okay, so that basically means they have to wait till the end of the season
pretty
in
much.
in
Unless,
most
in
cases.
most cases, yes, in most cases. All right. We will close out the show there then. Again, we appreciate all the love and support so far here on our third season of Road to Glory. It's been our biggest one yet when it comes to views and support. So we really appreciate that. Um, we hopefully can start seeing that reflect on our Instagram. So if you are here listening and you don't follow us on Instagram yet, make sure you check out our Instagram at the Pigskin Live for all your college football memes, content, highlights, all that good stuff. And if you're not, also subscribe to us on the platform that you're currently listening to this, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us grow. We'll be back next week to talk all about week 7. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy some college football.